Anybody? Is this drama over here? Okay, good. Stir up. This is an A-B conversation. You need to see your way out. I'm just kidding. Any questions on the homework? Anyone see anything that was like, what? Yeah. 3 through 6? Okay. Decide each situation. So this is problem number 3 on page 117. The number of runs scored each night in a baseball game, or by baseball team. Okay. So runs by baseball team. So I don't know a lot about baseball other than I played it. But I know that a lot of the scores were kind of like under 10. But every now and then you would thump on a team. So you'd have, 20 runs scored, which was really unlikely. Okay, so that's probably, if you were to take all the baseball games that took place, whether it's high school or little league or professional or college, I would bet you it's going to run something like this, where most of your information will fall here, but every now and then they can't throw a ball that you're hitting everything. So I would say this would be a skew right. I think that could take place. The high temperature each summer day in Denver. So that's A. B is summer highs, summer heat. I'd say that's probably relatively a normal distribution. If you were to take overall. Now, if you were to take just a certain year, I think you could definitely skew right, and you could definitely skew left if you were to take just a year-by-year basis. But if you did overall, it'd be relatively normal. Now, because no one is safe in my room, well, you guys are all safe, but you have the sky is falling crowd and the sky is not falling crowd. Agree? You know what I'm talking about? Global warming versus it's all hocus pocus. Y'all agree with me? You agree with me, though, those people who, I'm not asking you to agree with me that it's happening or not. I'm just saying that there are groups that will be very far to, yes, the world is melting, and there's groups that are like, it's all a cycle, it'll be fine. So what is the truth? And I'm not trying to ask you if you definitely know the truth, but what if we were to take the overall summer temperatures in Colorado, it would be a very normal curve. So you might have that one group out there that says it's fine. Agree? And then you might have that other group out there that just takes any particular one summer and says, oh no. And these people are saying it's fine. Okay. Now, I'm not trying to take away from anything that's taking place. I'm not trying to be a political person by any means. But this is basically a huge argument out there. Agree? And then we hear all the jokes. That I have my far to the right and I have my far to the left friends. I have to speak slowly to both sets, so there's no one that's safe. Like, well, what are you, Stirrup? Whatever's best for kids. What party's that? Whatever's best for kids. What do you mean? Whatever party's best for kids? Birthday parties, right? Sound bad? That's a good party. I like those. Cake, ice cream. So I'm not I'm not trying to take away from the argument either way. I will just tell you that anytime you have a hot topic, global warming, climate change, whatever they want to call it, you're going to have people that are going to exploit data one way, and you have people who exploit data the other way. Again, so please don't go to Mr. Boyce and say, Stirrup says global warming is not happening. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying there's people that are way one-sided or way other-sided, and you probably heard the term squeaky wheel, it's going to get the most attention. I'm not, so what does this guy think? My house that I told you about, I produce 130% of the electricity I use using solar. I have an electric car. The reason I bought the electric car is they pretty much gave it to me. I mean, I kid you not, I went in and the sticker price was $43,000. They brought it down to $27,000, and I wrote a check for it and walked out the door. I wasn't even planning on buying it, but it's fun. I like the electric car. I don't think I drive it appropriately because I win most races. Kid you not, it's a nice little sleeper car. And my wife is mad at me because we have 11,000 miles on it and we already need new tires. Sorry. I know I might be 51, but I feel like I'm 15. I'm just a child at heart. So, obviously we will talk about this type of thing very, very often. And not global warming and stuff like that, but just how groups will, we could say that 2022 looks like this as far as the summer, and we could say since 1880, this is what the summer temperatures look like. And I'm not trying to take away from any type of things that are taking place. I'm just trying to point out where is the argument on it. And honestly, it is between those two graphs. That's the argument. Okay? Those who say it's not happening will look at the blue graph. Those who say it's happening will look at this year's graph or last year's graph or, whatever year they're in graph. Okay? That's the argument. Okay? Are they right or are they wrong? Sure. Are they right or wrong versus using statistics? They're massaging the data to make their agenda of what they are speaking true. And I know it sounds silly, but there's no political party that's safe with me. I rip on them all. Again, I'm for what's best for kids. Period. Okay. The last digit of a social security number of a large group of people, this would be, so the social security number, this would be uniform. Okay. So the last digit can be anywhere from 0 to 9. If you took all the people that have social security numbers and put them in a place, you're going to have probably just as many zeros as you do nines, as many fives as you do nines, so on and so forth. Okay? Did I answer those questions? I know I chased the dog around a tree way too many times on 3B, but number 4 says that data has a mean of 6 and a median of 4. Mean of 6, median of 4. Thank you for asking for this one. So I have a mean of 6 and a median of 4. So kind of think about the normal curve. What's this doing? The mean will fall here, and then the median will fall here. Okay? So what's taking place? The mean is being tugged to the right by something as an outlier to the right. Okay? So this would be a skewed right data. Okay? Being that this is being tugged right, that means it's skew right. Okay? Assume that and so what basically happens here is there's some outliers out here. Outliers that are pulling it. Assume that the data has a mean of 60 and a median of 60. So mean and median being 60, you can conclude that it's basically a symmetric distribution. It's a normal distribution. So if the mean and median fall on the same exact line, that's what you want. You know, it doesn't always happen, but please list if it does. Number 6, sometimes the data are hard to describe. Can data have characteristics of both bimodal and skew distributions? Oh, I think you definitely could have bimodal and skew. If you did a dot plot that looks something like this, that would definitely be skew right, and being that you have 2 dots, if you tried to draw a normal curve with this, it would look something like that. So bimodal and skew definitely can happen. The data provided below, create this type of data. So you're doing a stem and leaf. I think you should be okay with that. And then describe the data in terms of center, spread, and outliers. So by using Desmos, you could easily get the mean. You can get the standard deviation. So the mean for number 8 is 41.9. The standard deviation is 12.72. And then what do you anticipate this relationship between mean and median? So the mean is larger than the median. Okay, so it's getting pulled to the right. And if you look at the graph that they have there on page 118, you have outliers at 72 and 63 and 65. And then calculate the standard deviation. Again, plug it into Desmos. And so the standard deviation is 12.72. The typical deviation from the mean is 12.72. So how far would one standard deviation be from the mean? And again, I talked about one standard deviation on a normal curve encompasses 68% of the data. Okay, so this is your standard deviations, those little lines. Okay, I'm done with that. Can I go to the lesson? What page are we on? I had a bookmark in here, and guess what? I don't know where it's at anymore. What's that? 21? Let's see. Box plots. Oh, okay, cool. Phone's out. Oh, wait, y'all have them out already. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do these on Desmos, but I want to talk about it first, what it means. So this is on page 21, and we're talking about a box plot. And a box plot deals with median and lower median and upper median as well. And max and min. And so let's see what this actually means. So if you plot your data, you're going to get something. And I'm just drawing one arbitrary. Okay. This one right here is an outlier. Does that make sense? You're like, I'm just showing you what the graph looks like. This is the minimum. This is the maximum. Okay. So sometimes the maximum can indeed be an outlier. This right here is where the median exists. And we refer to the median as Q2. Down here, this is called Q1. And this is called Q3. And what takes place on this graph is 25% of our data fits within each one of these boxes. Okay, so the median, 50% lies above, 50% lies below. Okay, we good so far? We ready for Desmos? All right. You guys got quiet on me. And Laura starts yelling at somebody, and then she gets all quiet because she's mad at me because I made a joke about an A&P conversation that I had to see my way out of, and I just can't win. What's that? Uh-oh. Was it something I did?
No.
Oh, good. Oh, giving you a hard time. Haven't you found my sarcasm yet, kiddo? All right. What are we doing? Oh, Desmos. Hey, let's Desmos.com, graphing calculator. So if I want to make myself a box plot, yeah, this is going to be similar to the other stuff we were doing. I'm going to go L equals square bracket, and I was looking at shoe sizes. That's too big. Shoe sizes of my freshmen. I'm just kidding. I wasn't really looking at it, but I'm just making it up. You got the one freshman, two freshmen that are just big for their age. And 10. Okay. So I have 18 elements. Now I'm just made up arbitrary values for that. So then what I want to do is I can type in box plot, if I spell it right. And as soon as it goes italicized to straight up and down, that means this becomes a function. Use a parenthesis, call it L, and close the parenthesis. And then we can say exclude outliers, which is good. So let me bold this up a little bit so it's a little nicer to look at. Okay. So taking a look at this graph, if I look at this point right here, my smallest shoe size is a 3. And then 4, 5, 6, 7. So from 3 to 7, I'm talking about 25% of my data. From 7, 8, is that 8.5 maybe? 8.5 right there. 25% of my data lives there. From 8.5 to 10, 25% of my data lives there. From 10 to 11, 25% of my data lives there. And then these outliers exist. Now those could count as part of the 25%, but the reason they're called outliers is they are further away from the median than normal. These are the two kids with the big, the size 15 and the size 16 shoe. Okay? But if I were to label this, min, Q1, median, Q3, max, outliers. That's how I would label it. Okay? And the box plot does it nicely. Now, one thing I want you to see, notice I have the thing clicked that says exclude outliers. If I do this, then it draws it all the way out to the outliers. Okay? Which one's correct? You want to make sure you exclude the outliers. That's good for your data. It's good for you to be able to fathom saying, I do have stuff that is too far away from my interquartile range. It's more than 1.5 times my interquartile range away from the median. And you're like, what? We'll go over it later, probably next week. But we'll talk about outliers with that. But as far as now goes, I would say make sure you can do this box plot on your phones, on Desmos. I've been helping lots of students with this, and you plug everything in correctly, except for you don't make square brackets on the top. You make them as parentheses, and it won't find it. So make sure you have square brackets on the top. It's round brackets on the bottom. And remember, if we labeled our list capital L, we used a box plot of capital L. But that's how our calculator will work, or our phones will work really nicely. So this is 1-9. You guys want a lot of homework tonight? Yeah, it'd be the best stirrup. And just a warning, box plots can go vertical, and it means the same thing. All right, so let's have us get a good start on page 119, 120. And if you work on it now, I can help you if you run into any disasters. Here, say